Hello, happy stampers. This is Kate with Kate's Paper Creations, and today this is just an extra video that I'm going to be doing. I've had some questions from people about what they see when I bring out my stamp sets and my embellishments and all of that. And so I'm going to share a little bit about what I do. It's probably more than most of you want to mess with, but I'll share it with you anyway, and then you can go from where you're at, because we all create our own stamping rooms and arrange them in the way that works best for us, because every situation is totally different. I have a tendency to be an uber organizer, and so my room is really quite organized, and everything in my stamping room, because I do have an entire room also, is within distance of my chair. I can just roll one way or the other and have my hand on everything from papers to stamp sets and die cuts to embellishments and so on. What I like to do is I like to create a catalog. I only keep current items in my catalog. I don't catalog discontinued items. That keeps my catalog under control, and plus this is what I use when I'm making my videos so that I can keep current product in front of my customers. Okay, so this is my catalog. It's just a ring binder, three ring binder. I have categories for the annual catalog. That's basically catalogs, both mini catalogs, celebration catalogs, and the annual catalog. So everything catalog. Then I have one for embossing folders, and it's divided into two sections. And here, I'll just go through it. So this is I don't alphabetize these. I just put them in here as I get them, and I just either bring them in off of the, off the pictures on the internet after the catalog comes out, or I might take a picture of the front of the case, and then I use my Silhouette Cameo, which is an electronic cutter, and I have created these templates. And so it's already got the top part here that says Ornate Thanks. Now you could do this on a regular typewriter, because I just do them in half sheets and I just cut them in half. So you could do them that way, like with your word processing or something like that. I'm sure you could do it, but I just happen to use my Silhouette Cameo because then it just cuts it out and so on. Now typically what I will do, these are just the name of the set and a picture of the set, okay? And the reason you're going to see different colors up here is I happen to figure, since I'm doing this, I might as well change the colors for the catalog. So these are actually carried over sets from a previous catalog because they're blue. But you get back to, these are all current. This one is pink. It's from last year's catalog. It was from the mini catalog last spring, or in spring of 2021. And this yellow one here, this is from the annual catalog. That's the color I'm using for the current annual catalog. So you can see you don't have to do all those different colors and everything. That's just what I do. Back here you see the green. That's because that's the current mini catalog. The fall 2021 catalog is in dark green, and the celebration sets that go with that are a light green. So those both, and it just helps me when it comes time to start sorting. It helps me know which ones are getting ready to expire so I can use them more. It also, when I leave the color in there, it lets me know which ones have been carried over, and when I mix them with the new stuff, so that I can keep it all straight. So I hope that makes sense for the catalog. Then I have the embossing folders section. This top part follows the same process. Just the name, and maybe you can see where I put here the catalog they came from. So like this one and this one. So that's these. And I have this in two sections. This first section is, well, for the embossing folders, no, there's not two sections. It's just got all the embossing folders in it. Okay, next section, Thinlits and Framelits. This is the one that has two sections. In the first part, this are dies that don't have, or I didn't keep with the stamp set. So in other words, sometimes, like with Hippo and Friends, I didn't buy the stamp. I only bought the dies because I liked all the borders that were in it. So it doesn't have a stamp set with it. So it's in this section. Layering circles, ornate, poppy moments. These are standalone. The stitched rectangles, stitched triangles, they aren't attached to a set. And so they're in this section. Okay. Then you get to the next section, which is the section where they're all coordinated with a specific stamp set. And so here's Dandy Wishes, Peony, and at the bottom down here, what I type in is the name of the dies, the number they are in the catalog, how much they are in the catalog, and what they coordinate with, and where those are all found. So that doesn't have to be in this. This is just basically a catalog, like I said. Then I have a section for punches, and they're just in here with pictures, and it tells a little bit about them, so I know where I got them. So that's my catalog system. And like I say, it's me. It's what I do. If you get, something from it, that's great. So now, I also have in my silhouette a template for the cases, for their standard Stampin' Up! Cases. Okay, and for like this particular set, I buy magnetic material, 5x7 magnetic material from Amazon, and it's peel and stick, so I can peel it and stick it in here, and that holds my dies in place. And then I make a cover, and I leave the original in there, but what I do with this cover, again, it's color coordinated for the catalog, but down here, when I use these at a workshop, down here they can see typically what page it's on. This is the number of the item, what it is. This says how many pieces they are, how many colors, how many sizes, and so on. And they don't have to go dig out their catalog in the middle of a workshop. It tells them right on the front of the box, and I can pass these around at a workshop. That's part of why I like to do this, because it has all this information on it, and I don't have to try and remember, because I'm not very good at remembering what's on what page. And yes, the index is there, but when we're trying to make something and they go, oh, I want to see that in the catalog, they can just look at this, pass it around, they can get their catalogs out later. They can write it on their little grid sheets I give them at every workshop. They can make notes in that side column. Oh, I want to check that out, and it's on page, okay, and they've got it written down. So that's part of why I do it as well. And so I do that for stamp sets, like this one, Forever Fern. It's got the stamp set and a picture of it on the front and the information. And then because this has a dedicated die set, the dies are in here also. And the back side has a picture of the dies and the information for them. And so that's how I do my die sets, stamp sets that have dies. This was how I did the dies that don't have stamp sets. Then I also, because my organization system in my room, I have shelves. I have bookcase shelves. I bought some shelves from Stampin' Storage. And so everything I have goes into cases. So all my embellishments go into cases, like the regular standard Stampin' Up! Cases. I make a cover for them. I take a picture or get a picture offline or whatever, put the picture of the embellishment on the front, tell about it down here, and then I just have them in here, and then they go on a shelf, bookshelf style, like this. And it has the name on the back. Another reason why I do this is because the words on the back of Stampin' Up's labels are so small, I can't see them from a distance. And I want to be able to do that because that's the way my room is arranged. So my labels also have the name of the product on the back in a nice bold type so I can see it. Now my stamp sets that are up on the shelf, they're alphabetized. So when I look through my catalog and I see the name of a stamp set like Forever Fern, I can go to my shelf and it's easy to find it on the shelf because there it is alphabetized and I can find it. I don't worry about alphabetizing embellishments, but I do alphabetize the stamp sets, the dies, and the embossing folders. I alphabetize them on my shelf, and they just sit up there like a bookshelf. And then I do have a few discontinued things, and I have a special shelf for those, mostly sentiments that I save. I enjoy just taking down all the discontinued stuff. I sell what I can, I give away what I have to, and I make room for the new stuff every year, every time a catalog comes out, because that's where I'm at. I love the refreshing, I love the change, I love the new things, I love the new inspiration and the new colors and everything. So I have no problem parting with older stamp sets. I usually put them in a box, and before I start passing them on and selling them or whatever, I will keep them and do some videos called Blast from the Past. And I will pull out stamp sets that I know my customers have purchased and make some videos for them to refresh their memories and remind them why they bought that set, and encourage them and inspire them to pull them off the shelf and use them again. And I will do that for a while, and then once I've done that, then that set's ready to sell or give away or whatever I'm going to do with it. And so that's what I do and how I do it. Now, if you have a silhouette or a Cricut or something like that, and you're interested in just the template part, of course, I'm not going to send you anything that's Stampin' Up dedicated, but I can send you the template via SVG and SVG file, because I believe Cricut even takes those, and you could use them then to create, but they are just measured out. And so, like I say, I try to just use a half sheet. For the case covers, you need them to be a little bit wider than a half sheet, because you've got to create that little piece that goes around the back to make the spine. I did for a long time make labels and sticky labels and put them on the backs of the spines so I could stay with a half sheet on the front. But this was just much neater. That I found that the labels would start to pull up and peel, and it just looked trashy, and I don't, my organization mode wouldn't let me do that. So now I do it. So these ones are, for length, I just kind of measured the case and made it just slightly shorter. It's about 7 inches, but it's probably closer to 6 3/4 inches tall. And then when it's just in the front for like the catalog, then it's just 5 inches wide, 5 by 7. But this one is actually going to be 5.5 by 7, so that you've got enough for the spine. So anyway, I hope that makes a little bit of sense for you. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you're inspired. If you have questions, just shoot them off to me. I'm here to help people who love stamping, and I don't care who your upline is. I'm here to help and give you ideas. And I didn't have an upline. I mean, I did, but she didn't like me, so we parted ways. And so now I haven't been without an upline for 9 years or something. And so I like to share the things that I've learned, so that you can make your business work better for you, or your hobby, if it's just a hobby, just to make it work better for you. So anyway, I hope that helps. I enjoy sharing what I do. Let me know what you think in the comments, and we'll talk to you later. So I thought I would also just try and give you a little bit of an idea of what my room looks like. This is to the left of my chair. That's 2 shelves from Stampin' Storage, one on top of the other, and the standard stamp cases from Stampin' Up fit perfectly on those shelves. This is where I have my embellishments and a few extra things up there, some empty cases and some other things that are non-Stampin' Up that I use when I'm making my 3-dimensional crafts and stuff. Then to the right of that, I have the Stampin' Storage paper storage, the 8.5 by 11. There's 4 of those on their side, and then a 12 by 12 in the corner, because I don't typically buy a lot of Stampin' Up designer papers. And so that one rack is plenty. And then up on the top, you can see it's the 6 by 6. And then those other 2 boxes there, they just hold my envelopes that I have lots of. So that's that. Then you come around, that's my fan for when it gets hot in the summertime. Then we'll come around this way, and it's going to get a little bright because the window curtain isn't down. But this is my work table. And we bought the desk from IKEA, and it had adjustable legs, so I could adjust it to fit my height, and it was awesome. And then again, I have Stampin' Storage, wooden Stampin' Storage things for my markers, re-inkers, and stamp pads, and one for my blends. And that's my monitor up there that I use now, that I got all just set up with recently for doing my videos. And there's my turntable there, and it has all my little scissors and pokey tools and water spritzers and water brushes, and all that kind of stuff is in that spinner. There's my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I love it. You'll also see a Gemini battery powered or electric embossing machine. That's because when I hurt my arm recently and I could not crank, my husband bought me that so I could keep producing cards. I have a heat press over there. I do some of that as well. Then here's my shelves to the right of my work table, and the top three shelves are my stamp sets and dies and embossing folders. And then that shelf below with the purple backgrounds, those are my discontinued but kept sentiments. Then to the right side of that shelf, I have the Stampin' Storage punch holder, and I love that thing. It works great. And then below that, the Stampin' Storage ribbon holder. It's the best one I've found yet, and I'm happy with it. Then these boxes down below, that's where I keep my cards. They're labeled on the end of the box, what's in each one of them. When someone comes to buy cards, I just pull them out and open them up, and there's divider cards that are labeled, and they can get into them and sort through them. Then you see my 12 by 12 rack. This is where I buy my 12 by 12 coordinations and basil papers from Joann Fabrics, and where I save all of my leftover designer series papers, because I use these things for making my three-dimensional projects that I make. And then you keep going and round, and I turn around, and there's my computer desk where I have my electronic cutter in the drawer there and everything. And then behind me, just a place for some pretties. That my husband built me a, I'll see if I can turn this slow enough that it doesn't drive your eyes buggy. Maybe you can see this. My husband built me a baker's rack that I could put in my room, and a place to just sit a few pretties, because I have to have some pretties around me. And then back over to past the door, and there's my printer. There's one of my 3D projects. There's some of the mini coffee cups that I made for fall and filled with goodies. I haven't used them all up yet. And then I'll just real quickly show you my three-dimensional project collection. These are things that I have made using my Silhouette Cameo. And I just have so much fun doing that. And I use Stampin' Up papers quite often for these, but when you were making 3D projects, excuse that really bright light. Here's some more 3D projects. Especially if you're making very many, and I typically make many and give them away, it can get very expensive. And so I wait for Joann to have their sales where you get 10 sheets for $2, and then they have a 20% off besides. So I end up paying about 18 cents a sheet for 12 by 12 cardstock to use to make my three-dimensional projects, which makes them affordable. So anyway, there's a little bit of a quick glimpse of my stamp room and how I organize. Thanks for watching.